This is Christopher Lewis from the dailyforex.com trading desk, taking a look at the Euro US dollar going into the February 9th Forex session. As you can see, we just started the daily session, and the candle from the Thursday trading session ended up at Doji. It almost looks a little bit like a shooting star, but what's interesting about this is where it happens. It's always where that's going to be more important than the shape of the candle per se. As you can see, the 132 to 132.50 area had been support previously that we had fallen through. Now we have broken back above previous support, which or resistance, which became resistance again, and then support, and then we pop back up. So having said all that, you can see that we are now attempting to climb above this level. At the same time, we have the 38.2 Fibonacci retrace from the fall right in the neighborhood, and of course, we have the ongoing talks in Athens between the Greeks and the Troika as to the end result of some type of debt negotiation. The markets seem to be waiting for this, and of course everybody has their eye on the euro dollar. You can see that the candle from the session before on Tuesday rose straight to this resistance area on rumors that the announcement was coming any minute, any hour, that they were going to share with the world what they had come up with. We've seen this movie before. So my suspicion with this is that this doji may lead the way. If we break out above it, we will probably run up to about the 50 or possibly even 135. I would have that as one resistance zone, probably 75 to maybe 100 pips on the high side from 34 to 135. And at that point in time, we may run into trouble, because you have to think that the markets generally are a forward-looking mechanism. All one has to do is look at the euro US dollar. Every time there was thoughts of a possible workaround coming, the markets would rally before the announcement came out. And then, of course, the announcement came out and deflated that, or they found that there was something that just didn't quite go right, and of course, the market sold off afterwards. So traders try to get in ahead of time, and that's what's happened so far. So my suspicion is that if we do get this, we'll get a knee-jerk reaction, and it should be positive, but 135 will probably provide quite a bit of resistance. So if we break to the upside, I'm not necessarily looking to go long. I'm looking to short it up here if I get some type of resistive candle, perhaps a shooting star or a bearish engulfing candle, something to that effect. If we break below this doji, it will probably be because of one of two things. Either the market has run out of patience, which one would have to think has to come someday, but this has been going on for just about 2 years now, if you really take it back to the beginning part of the game. So who knows? But if it does break down, we will look to 130, maybe a little bit above, as high as 131 as the beginnings of support. If the talks themselves break down, this pair will fall apart. We will probably run back towards the bottom. So we have kind of like a triangle of possibilities right now. We go up, and then I look to sell because I think 135 will hold. You have to keep in mind, though, on top of these negotiations, once this is done, why won't the Portuguese or someone else, the Italians, whatever, look for some other kind of workaround? One thinks that while this will settle a lot of issues in Greece, there are plenty of other places in Europe where problems can come. And then on top of that, of course, we have the fact that recession is coming to Europe. And in fact, the Federal Reserve Chairman, somebody who speaks basically to knock down the value of the dollar, did recently say that his biggest fears are actually out of Europe and not the United States. So having said that, even if he is willing to admit the fact that maybe the dollar is deservedly higher against the euro, one of the most dovish people on the planet, then perhaps there really is something to that. So looking forward, I'll be looking for a pullback at 135. If we get up there on a knee-jerk reaction, maybe a drift lower to 130 if this continues, this dragged out process. And of course, if the process falls apart, sell the euro, and if you hang on long enough, it'll probably race much, much, much lower.